Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome once again to another edition of Wala to Walasa, your weekly Labour Digest program here on Clock TV Beyond the Policy. I am your host, Edmond Akwe. You can watch Clock TV on all our social media handles, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and on channel 184 on Go TV. We continue to bring Labour conversations closer to you. Electricity and water are essential public utilities that are crucial to the life support of citizens of our country, Ghana. Every home, hospital, school, office, industry depends on uninterrupted utility services. Behind these crucial services are dedicated public utilities workers who operate under high demanding conditions to keep the nation running. Yet, the nature of their work exposes them to safety risks, infrastructure pressures, technical challenges, and evolving regulatory demands. Protecting these workers and ensuring sustainable service delivery is therefore not just an institutional concern, it is a labor issue and a national development priority. Today on Wala to Walasa, Ghana's Labour Digest program, we examine the theme, powering the nation, protecting public utilities workers, and sustaining essential services in Ghana. We will explore the role of the Public Utilities Workers Union in safeguarding worker welfare, promoting occupational safety, engaging management in operationalization of the entities, and ensuring industrial harmony within Ghana's utilities sector. We have in our studio Brother Reverend Enoch Laye Paul Hayes, who is the Deputy General Secretary of the Public Utility Workers Union of TUC. He's also a geospatial engineer at ECG, and is also a senior pastor of ICGC Joy Temple, North Carolina. Reverend, Brother Paul Laye, all that, you are welcome to Wala to Walasa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, how you doing?
We are good.
How are your constituents, your members?
Yeah, so the members are doing good. They are doing well. Just that they are all in a way in a certain limo. They really want to work out. They had to bring what we call stable power and then a good flow of water. Make sure the housing deficit is being managed as well. And then at least to try and then hold the sector of the utility areas more viable as we think as Ghanaians.
Great, good to know. You are all geared to make sure that Ghana gets better water and electricity. Now, Public Utility Workers Union of TUC, can you give us a brief history about this union and what really their core mandate is?
All right, so thank you very much. The Public Utility Workers Union, somewhere in 1958, when the TUC held the National Congress, was in a way inaugurated in January, whereby it was part of the earlier unions. Later in 1960, joined the Public Service Workers Union, in order to address the issues concerning electricity and then water as well. And later part in 1967, the workers and then the union realized that it needs, especially addressing the electricity workers and then that of water was not really being addressed. So they decided to separate themselves, called the Public Utility Workers Union under the TUC. So in 1967, it was clearly that the union was formed. By then, we had about 1,700 workers, that is both from Ghana Water and then that of electricity. Then gradually, we also added state housing and added them that are also service providers to Ghanaians, and so we added them also as well. And we are expecting to roll back then community water and sanitation that was also carved out of Ghana Water was also added to them. You know, it's very important that currently as we speak now, we have over 15,000, and somewhere within 1980 it was very clear that the Public Workers Union became a strong union on their own and began full operation to that. By then we were having a membership of about 8,850. But currently we are operating within ECG, that is the energy sector, and then we also have Ghana Water Company Limited, that is when we look at the utility sector, the water providers. Then we have State Housing Company as well. Then we have that is Community Water and Sanitation Agency. Then we also have Mensvik Hotel. Recently they also joined us. And so we have other smaller pocket of organizations that are with us. That is the Achimota Golf Club and some other that is also a water system agency. And then we also have some few other new smaller organizations that are with us here. So currently the major, let me say, organization that we drive as the Public Workers Union, that is electricity, that is Ghana Water, that is State Housing, and then Community Water and Sanitation, and then Mensvik.
Good, very well. So now talking about the Public Utility Workers Union of TUC, you really deal with essential services, because talking about electricity, you're talking about water, you're talking about other state housing, organizations. Now, let's look at the working conditions faced by these public utility workers. Give us a brief about the working conditions. Are things all right in there? I know there are issues, we'll come to that, but looking at the Public Utility Workers Union in itself, are they facing good working conditions?
Yes, so currently I think one of the major roles and the activities we just representing the workers in major public utility sectors, and that is to make sure that at least the union is able to have what we call collective bargaining and also national labor issues being taken upon, including other things to be done to make sure that they have somebody will say that good remuneration, they have work condition, better working condition. So time to time, these are the very, very major things we look at. But just like the economists will always say, for money, no matter how you are giving it will not reach you. And Ghanaian workers can never tell you that they are okay with the salary they are receiving. But within the sector, we are pushing, and since it is a utility sector which has to do with what we call a social amenity to Ghanaians. The social component and social part of it also counts very well. So our workers are not only looking at what they get in their pocket or the profit, but they are also looking at how best at least Ghanaians can have electricity, and Ghanaians can have water, and Ghanaians can have shelter, because the major thing of life is the major essential, or let me say the importance of life to live, has to do with what we call water, electricity, and then a place to lay your head, and maybe you talk about health that comes in. But I believe strongly that, like we look at it, their conditions are something day to day we keep negotiating for, and we keep working on to better. Even though we are not there yet, we can never be there, because we're expecting that as life goes on, Oliver Twist, you still want more. And there's nothing that satisfies a man until we already come to know the terms when God satisfies you. But if not so, nothing satisfies a man. No matter how you get higher, you still want more. And so the condition as it stands now, we know it is not the best of conditions. They are not doing everything, they are not getting everything they want, but we keep negotiating. On the other hand, that has to do with, especially currently, we want to be very frank, with some few years coming up here, we realize that there have been a lot of government interference, and that is one of the issues we think we have to be addressing more and more within these sectors. It's not only electricity, not only water, not state housing, but in the few years coming, we have seen it happening. I'm talking about in between these few governments, some few years. We're looking at the 12 years, 8 years coming down. This has been intriguing in the company, and we know it is one of the things we are fighting with. We have the condition of service, we have policies, but you know, some of these decisions for politicians go to, in a way, set aside or put aside this kind of policies that are to guide and govern the organization. So these are some of the challenges, but nevertheless, the union keep fighting and then keep pushing for the best for the workers.
For the best. Now we'll come to more inciting information about the operationalization of those entities that your union governs. Now let's look at worker safety. You know, you are dealing with essential, very critical areas of work. You know, electricity in itself is a dangerous. When you mention electricity, a lot of people get scared, and water in itself. How is work safety for your members?
Yeah. So when you come to the OSHA, that is the work and safety aspect of electricity, for example, is top notch because there is a policy, and we have a serious policy governing self and health and safety activities within the company, and we have them enshrined in the CA. We have them also in the policy, and we have them in the day-to-day working arrangement, and also the procedure by which somebody should work with. For example, it is clear that the company is supposed to provide certain safety apparel for the workers anytime they have to work. And there is also a clear indication on some of the, let me say, the lines or some of the machines before you go close to them. The attire you have to wear, the safety apparel, you make sure all those things are done. And in particularly also, especially drivers, the safety aspect of it is taken so paramount that before you move out, there are other things that should be checked before. And when we come to, let me say, workman compensation in case of accident and other things too, it is worth taking care of.
Very well.
But we can still do more, like we are saying, with safety and the health. We know these are areas we have to take into seriousness more of what we have to do, because there is somebody will say that there is a modern way, and there is a better way of trying to always avoid safety, because safety is such a way that the moment you fail to think safety, then you fail to, you are going to lose your life.
You find yourself wanting.
So it's one of the major areas. Ghana Water, for example, have a lot of issues, especially those who are at the, we normally called that is a production center. Yes, they produce the water, the chemicals. These chemicals, some of them are hazardous. The way they are not very good to the human health. So in all these things, before you get there, the nose mask, what you're supposed to wear, the proper, all these things are taken care of. So the PPE, the protective clothing, we expect all these things should be provided, and they do that, especially when you go to, like we said, the production, we call it production plants, those areas. When you come to Weja, when you go to Pong, all those places, they have them there. And you know, from time to time, they have to also go on a checkup to know what is actually wrong with them. So these are some of the things enshrined in the CA the union have been able to negotiate for, and then it is also in their policies, so that from time to time, anytime you are working, the worker will not leave their job or will not retire with certain, let me say, that ailment or some
injuries that would go a long way to worry him or her. Now let's look at it. It's quite important. Work safety and decent work is quite important, because taking into consideration the ILO conventions that we have ratified and all that, as a union, you would always want to ensure that work safety and decent work is one of your priority areas. Now let's pick electricity. Let's look at the distribution of electricity, okay? Like in Ghana, taking Ghana as a country on its own. Now, how is electricity distributed in our country?
All right, thank you very much. So when you look at the energy structure in Ghana, we have the generation, we have transmission, and then we have distribution. So when we come to the generation, we have VRA that are generating, and not only VRA, we have other independent power producers that are also generating now.
Okay.
So currently, we know we have hydro and we have thermal. Mm-hmm. The hydro is generation that is from the dam or the well. So we have Akosombo and we have Bui Dam. So these are two places VRA is using to generate.
So Akosombo is the old Akosombo that we know.
The old Akosombo dam that we know.
In the eastern region somewhere.
Yes.
Then Bui is up north, a little bit up north there. Yeah.
Let me say the Sunyani area.
The Sunyani area, yeah.
So that two aspect of it, when you look at it, are hydro. And hydro, when we look at it, is from water. Then we can look at the thermal. The thermal, you can add the other do that is crude. The other do gas. So these are the two major ones they are doing. We are doing solar currently too.
Okay.
So these are other generating, let me say, organizations that are also there generating. Yes. And then we have transmitters. They take the power from where it's generated and then they bring it to the doorsteps of ECG. So we can distribute to Ghanaians.
Okay.
And then they have Gridco. So Gridco is the company that takes from VROI and also takes from the independent power producers and then hand them over to ECG, and ECG distribute them. And so the ECG is a distributor in the southern part, but the northern part, right from beyond Ashanti region, Sunyani, or up to the northern sector is NETCO. So NETCO is still under VROE, is more or less like a baby under VROE. They were formerly part of ECG, but when they splitted, they were still being managed by VROE.
So the NETCO is the Northern Electricity Distribution Company. Yeah.
So they are in the northern sector. Yeah. So the distribution of ECG is within the southern sector. And then we normally receive from these other power generators and we distribute it to Ghanaians. And then most of the time when we see, we call it the substations. So we have what we call the primary substations. And these are very big substations. We receive the power from there and we also take it and then distribute it to the various areas that Ghanaians can have the power. We have different levels of the power when it's coming. We have the one which comes in a very huge, somebody will say megawatts. That you cannot use it at your home.
So you have to break it down.
So you have to break it down and make sure that it becomes user friendly. You can't use it, your gadget can't
handle them and all that.
So we reduce them, some from 161 come to 33, come to 11, then we bring it all the way to the 240 that you can use it. So the transformers you see in the various areas are to step the power down. From 11,000 kVA to sometimes from 33 to 11, and then also to 240 that you can use them at the various houses. So this is what normally ECG does. When you see the lines, so in all, the distribution is in terms of ECG sending the power to areas that the bigger or the volume of voltage coming from the top cannot go there. And then they distribute it to the places.
By breaking it down. So how about our national grid? How do you see it? Is it enough?
Yes, so currently, when you look at the coverage area, when you look at the national grid, in terms of coverage of electricity, in Ghana as it stands now, per our population and geographical location, ECG currently with distribution, we've done about 75%. So, which means that, we've done about 95%. So you can look at it going close to, as it stands now, there are areas that when you add the northern sector to, we are getting close to, I think, 83%. But it's very important that when you pick the power stability currently, ECG is doing very well. in the sub-Saharan of Africa.
Yeah.
And it's very important. So the distributing sector is doing very well.
Great.
And just because we have enough power,
yes,
we are also extending more. So especially the villages and the outer lands here in Ghana, currently we've been able to extend power to a lot of the places.
Yes.
So the villages currently that are not with power will say that when you put all together, they will not be up to 15%. Even though we have some part of the city that we need to do more extension, but looking at rural replication,
yes,
the number of communities that are left to at least be connected to the national grid in Ghana, at least they are about 15%, unless the place is very, very far. But currently, we can see the villages that you can talk about.
Yeah.
They all have lights.
They have at least, they can see some lights. Now, let's talk a little bit about water production and its distribution. How is it like?
Yeah, so Ghana Water too is doing very well. Currently, the challenges we are having is just, I would say, a bit of Accra. The other part of the central region and western region, we saw recent time this Galamsey issue.
Yes.
It's a major issue that TUC and organized labor have to come in and champion this whole thing. All the unions and everybody, they see the civil society organization and other people came together. But just that we were not firm enough as Ghanaians to be able to stand on these manners, because it's really a problem to what we are doing.
Yes.
But Ghana Water, as it stands now, are doing their best. With water extension has also gone very far. Yes. The villages, the outer land and the villages, they are having community water and sanitation that is there. And so normally we do the community water production there. And so they have boreholes. And those are areas that the boreholes take care of. But when we come to areas like within the cities, the urban areas, you are expecting that the peri-urbans, you see this aspect of distribution going on.
Yes.
The challenge we have currently in part of Accra is the desalination center plant, which is at Teshinungwa, which is to produce water from the salty water. And it's a little challenge because the whole contract and the compact, the workers' union raised issues about it.
Yes, in recent times.
Yes. And even during the time they were trying to put it together. But it looked like sometimes the way it is, politicians would not want to listen to labor. But don't forget that whatever comes in, labor is the one who suffers.
Yes.
And labor becomes who bears the crunch of whatever happens.
Yes.
I think we raise it, that what we are going to do will not profit the Ghanaians, because the cost involved and how much they are selling to Ghanaians and how much we have to receive it and sell to Ghanaians. Yeah. For example, if we are buying the water from them as $2, we are selling to Ghanaians at 50 cents. So how do you bring the even? This is from Wedgo, and it's very expensive to desalinate salty water into drinking water. Yes, so a good water to consume. Better if we have which is very close, and all that we needed is more pumps which can pump the water to a certain distance. And we have water that comes and we even split the water away. So why wouldn't you rather make use of these things? And these are technical teams that the technocrats will advise. But sometimes
the politicians or those in power would
so not. So labor continue to be a very major advisor when we come to development, industrialization, and also making the lives of the citizens or the country or Ghanaians better. And we think more time, labor should be on the table from time to time to be able to manage all these things.
Thank you very much. Viewers, I think our conversation is getting interesting. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll look at issues confronting the Electricity Company of Ghana and what the union stands in to do. Thank you. Welcome, viewers, and you are on our show Wala to Walasa, your Labour Digest program here on Clock TV. We still have in our studio our able Reverend Brother Enoch Lai Paul Hayes, who has been walking us through the Public Utility Workers Union activities and how far they have come. Now, we are going to delve into a very sensitive and important issue. We're hearing rumors about the privatization of certain entities within the Electricity Company of Ghana. Brother Paul Hayes, can you please walk us through what is really on the ground and what is happening?
Yeah, thank you very much. And then once again, I think on this important issue, I also want to extend our regards to all the viewers, especially workers of Electricity Company of Ghana.
Great.
The gallant workers, they are doing very well.
They are doing very well.
Our men and women are really putting in their best for this country.
Yeah.
So, like you rightly said, I think this thing started far back in, that is 2014, 2015, where the then led government, President Mahama's time, started looking at privatization of electricity. We came in as a union and then tried to look into why they wanted to do that. And the whole concept was to make sure ECG becomes efficient and then more viable as it was. And the whole issue was to look at it and then maybe get it to be more efficient. And we saw the whole move to at least go with a certain percentage. So they were looking at some private sector participation.
Great.
And it was just in a way of concession. So the union and labor fought at the time and negotiated in such a way that one, there shouldn't be job losses. So I think what happened was that chunk of the workers were absorbed by PDS, which is the company
that took over then.
Okay.
And so the full meaning of PDS is the power distribution services.
Yeah.
All right.
So PDS, which was the power distribution services,
are they still in existence?
No.
Okay.
Currently,
Go ahead.
Currently, the contracts have been abrogated and have been sent to court. I know the case, a verdict has come, but they're still going on court again. But the issue is that all the cautions and all the things the union spoke about did happen. So we keep saying every day that it look like when the union are saying something,
government
the politicians of government should listen. So the very thing we spoke about PDS are the major thing that happened, because when they came, there are three major issues we want the public to know when they talk about PDS and people are saying that they are performing. One good thing was that nobody came from outside, no white man, nobody was working. It was the same workers of ECG who worked during the PDS time.
Okay.
The only issue that happened was that government interference was insulated. Because they felt it had been given to a private person or somebody different, they could not interfere.
Okay.
And so PDS was collecting all the money it was collecting and using the money for themselves. One, that is what really happened. But the workers of ECG, nobody came from outside.
They were the same people.
They were the same people.
It's just that they've been given different names.
From the MD managing director to the last person were the same workers. So whatever happened, the magic, it was because politicians, the hands of politicians was insulated. No interference.
No interference. What was the union doing then?
So the union wasn't collaborating because it was together.
Yes.
We were, the union was on board with the PDS board of management. And the team were together. And we were working because there was a very clear-cut policy that was to bring the concession together.
Yes.
And there was a document. Yes. And so we were all using the document as a way to manage.
Yeah.
And everything was going well. The union was still active with management, working together. And like we said, there was nothing new.
Yes.
Everything that was done by the same workers, old people on ECG. And you know, one good thing was that the money that was being collected, there was nothing like cash water for today that we have. There was nothing like bring the money and then go and pay these IPPs and whatever.
Yes.
Everything was going to PDS. And they were doing what they wanted. All right. And the second thing we want to establish clearly also during the time of PDS, that people try to always measure and then look at it from that angle. PDS during the time, because they were business oriented and they were profit driven, they never extended power anywhere.
They were just concentrated.
They were just concentrating on where they'll get money and recoup and generate the profit.
Because extending power means expenses for them.
Exactly. So there was nothing like social component or social driven
within the contract.
Within the contract. Because it's something they wanted to do to make profit. Okay. And that is the private sector's mindset. That is the private sector agenda. And so that is why the labor and union keep cautioning government that don't take a certain utility which is a social
and essential services to the citizens,
and say that I want to put in the private hands. Then it will happen like what is happening in Uganda, whereby they were covering about 70% of the national grid. Currently, they are doing about 43%.
Yeah.
Why? Because people can no longer afford for electricity.
Yes.
Because it's in the hands of the private man, and he is looking for profit.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that the Ghanaian will benefit anymore, which is his or her right as a Ghanaian to benefit from electricity and from water. That the government should provide. These are social amenities.
Because for the private producer, for him, it is for profit.
That is it.
Careless about whether you are receiving water at a distance or not.
So it is very clear that during the time of PDS, nothing of this sort happened. So we keep saying that instead of rather trying to give it out to a private person, to say that as if you have done something, why don't you rather, as a government who want things to work, insulate yourself, give KPIs, measurables, like it happened in PDS? It can be done. So currently, I think you mentioned what is going on now.
Yes.
So currently, I think the recent time we had the energy minister was just being vetted, and we had ECG coming to the limelight again on privatization. We know this has been in past, and it just surfaced again. So we as the workers were alarmed, and so our general secretary, in the person of Brother Timothy Nyami, took the initiative and then wrote to the president congratulating him and then cautioning him that he should be careful whoever is trying to advise him on the energy sector, especially ECG, to privatize the company, because that is not the best option. We have known by history, and the union and labor has led to champion certain costs, telling us that we went and they saw what the union talked about, that was
it happened.
And then you came back and you are now in court. Look at the money that have been wasted.
And
look at
you
the
want
time
to go
that
back
have been wasted.
on the same tangent again.
The same thing happened to Ghana Water, Aqua Bitens. The union spoke about it. They did not listen. They went, signed the contract, later have to come back again to Ghana Water. And these were the things we keep saying every day. So trying to go by the same way, we also know sometimes these are external pressures coming from either external bodies. We know IMF and some of these things come to push and bring some modalities, do this, do that. But we always keep saying, there are better ways to do things rather than trying to follow up what people are trying to say. We want to believe that, like we continue saying every day, the advice and the also suggestions, and also sometimes the kind of things labor puts on the table are very, very important, crucial, and let us say practical. They are pragmatic. When you put them on the table, you are able to get results because they are on the ground.
They are on the ground.
They know what is happening.
They know what is really happening on the ground.
And they can tell you exactly
what the situation is supposed to be. Now, this letter, I'm not cutting you, but this letter that your boss wrote to the president, congratulating and cautioning him about, some of the things that will happen when, ECG is privatized. Have you been called to the table to explain yourself as the presidency, or otherwise the powers will be called you to engage the union to listen to your
No, I think that nothing of that sort was done. Rather, I know the president gave opportunity to organize labor, to meet organized labor, that is TUC and other people. So it's also form part of the whole front labor team. And I think during that time, the ECG privatization issues was also raised to the president, cautioning him that he should be very careful and then tread cautiously on that, saying that is not the best thing to do. But I want to proceed by saying that the minister for Energy and Grid Transition, your Dr. Honorable Abu Jinapor, also called us, and by the leadership of TUC. So we met him, And by then they formed the technical committee that to look at the privatization of ECG. And we met them. So when we met them, we also tabled before them a document, letting them to understand that, making them aware or calling the attention on some few issues that we believe that the privatization of ECG
would not be the best.
It's not the best to turn around the fortune of ECG or to make ECG efficient. We made certain key areas, 8 key note areas to them, so that they will rather look at it instead of rather jumping to give ECG out, because we know that is not the best solution.
Do they have timelines as to when they want to do this privatization?
At the time we met them, that was earlier part of 2025. We ended up going back to the minister to have some agreement with him. That is from June. And we said from July, we are giving ourselves 6 months to December, where we want to turn around the fortune of ECG, getting things better. Because by then he gave us the state of ECG as at then.
The state of affairs
there. And he mentioned the revenue collection that was not coming. He mentioned the losses, energy losses that was high. He mentioned also what we call about the inefficiency in the company, the power instability. All these things were issues that were mentioned. And I think we met him, so we agreed with him that, okay, we all have a part to play. His part is to find a way to make sure, at least from the part of government, this political interference will be insulated. So ECG will be given the free operating power to operate, and a free room to do whatever they have to do, which we know it is very difficult, because normally, yes, it's 100% owned by government in trust of Ghanaians. I want this to be very clear to politicians.
Clear,
So whatever people think that is in any a public sector is owned, 100% owned by government, but in trust
of the citizens.
So nobody should take advantage. The fact that you have been given opportunity to go and sit there, you are holding in trust.
Exactly.
So you can't wake up and give electricity to, let me say, not
even relatives, some individuals who might not care about whatever
you
happens.
Can't do that. And that is what I know agenda people, some few people want to gather themselves somewhere and then say, oh, let's come and take this portion. That is what the agenda they are trying to have. But we are telling them as Ghanaians will not permit it, will not allow
in this your document that you have in front of you, tell us for the purpose of education and sensitization.
So one of the major things, I think we raised 8 major issues to the minister, which he acknowledged that yes, is an issue that we all need to address. So one of them has to do with he helping us, what we call the MNDAs, that is the government institutions that are owing ECG when it comes to revenue. You know, what happened is that in time past, if our general managers or our managers are working and they really want to go all out to go for revenue, when companies are owing them, they want to go for the money. And then you see calls coming from the powers that be. Yes, you have to go reconnect them back and do this. So the minister assured us, and I will sit here and applaud the Honorable Minister, Dr. Abunyo. He did well, because he gave us his word that he will not interfere, and he doesn't want to come in when it comes to revenue. And of a truth, he did that. And we met him on that. Some few occasions we have met him. He gave us the clear support of whatever he wants to do to make sure the sector is working and ECG comes back to its feet. And one of them is to also renegotiate the prices from the independent power producers, the energy they are selling to us to be given to Ghanaians. The contract, some of the aspect of the contract, they are, let me say, a killer contract to Ghanaians, because you say take or pay. For example, ECG needs only 100 megawatts of power to give to Ghanaians. Then you produce 200 megawatts. Because you produce 200 megawatts, you said, I have generated it, and so therefore you have to pay.
Buy first.
So if ECG takes only 100 and gives to Ghanaians, the other remaining 100, who pays for it? It's on the neck of ECG. And every time, this is the debt that is hung on ECG.
That's surplus.
And every time we keep saying that they can't pay. And when you also look at the sub-Saharan Africa, how much are we charging for the energy? Is it the same thing that is being charged there? Because compared to our other sister neighboring countries, It's the same amount we are paying. So this is where we want to also come in and renegotiate, because we felt the pricing and then the cost of the energy within this era, or within like in Ghana, for example, to be given to Ghanaians is on the high side. So you are trying to increase tariff, and that cannot be done. Meanwhile, it is priced in dollars. It is also priced in dollars. So you sit down, and nobody pays electricity in Ghana in dollars.
Yeah.
Everybody pays in cedis.
Yeah.
And by then we're having issues also with the dollar rate. So it was also a toll on ECG. So you have always need to go and change a cedi to dollar when you have given Ghanaians the power in
and
cedis
paid you in
and paid in
cedis.
cedis, and you have to go and change. It was also another issue. And so these were some of the things we tabled before the minister, and realized that no, especially when you go to nearby countries, theft of power, it's criminalized. Okay, it's an issue. You cannot just steal power like that.
Yeah.
But Ghana is not so. You want to just make sure people are punished well, so that they will not be stealing power.
Yeah.
But that is not also being done. We also saw some of the interference from politicians, that they will meters that are illegal meters, or some will not pass through ECG.
Yes.
But politicians have them and they are sharing them all over the place, trying to give it to
party favorites,
and whatever, food soldiers, and they are installing the meters, which is either skyrocketing our losses.
Yes.
So when the losses is going up, this is another part of it. So we spoke to him. He gave us his clear assurance, and then he's going to help in doing that. And we were having issues by then. He raised at the port the container issues we raised about. We know clearly this has to do with leadership issue. It has nothing to do with the workers, because none of the workers in ECG, especially not at the directorship level, that is appointed by politicians or government, has any way to go and purchase or buy anything with containers and whatever. These are the top. So we told them they should be able to manage it and take care of it, because they appointed them. And then whoever needs to be prosecuted or sanctioned, they should go ahead and do it. And we also pleaded with him that the containers are not missing, because we have 4 major organizations that are to make sure that anything that is important to this country
is secured.
It's secured. So they should go to them and then get all the containers. And thank God these containers, as we spoke, are here. They find them and they are all around.
They've seen them.
They've seen them. So we are saying that if the minister is doing all these things to help, which means that he has done this part, we also assured him that we are going back to the workers. We'll make sure that the light is stable. We'll do our best. Even though the resources are not much, we'll try to work efficiently enough to use the little resources we have to at least achieve the results we have. And let me say that kudos to the workers and then to Ghanaians, which we believe we can do it when support is given, and also when we are given a free will to work. And the current acting managing director of ECG, we also met him and met the management team of ECG, and we had a very good discussion. We called a tripartite meeting with the minister, and we all agreed that let's work together. We said the minister, give us 6 months. By then we're making 900 million a month as revenue. And the minister mentioned it. And we said, give us that. He said, we are supposed to make like 2 billion and 2.2. We said, no problem. Give us the chance. We'll be able to do it. He said, your losses are 40%. We said, don't worry, we'll bring them down. And he said, listen, the power, we want it to be stable. We said, don't worry, we'll do it. The challenge we can speak now, currently, in terms of what NEDCO has done and what ECG has done, has only got to do with meters. But currently, our losses is at 23% from 40.
From 40, it
is clear. It is coming down.
It has come down.
And we can even bring it down further, because the PRC standard and benchmark to us is 21%. So we are almost there. And number 2, within 6 months, we have made an inroad of 185 instead of 90. We have 1.85 billion. So which means that there is even the part of the MMDA's account that are supposed to be added, that is government owing us, that has not paid. If it's to pay that and we have to collect that, we have made over the 2 billion he's talking about.
So it means there's a lot of.
So it means that we have done all this improvement. We want Ghanaians to know that ECG workers are working. Where we have issue is what we call the service delivery, which has to do with meters. And as it stands now clearly, we will not sit anywhere and say that we have been able to resolve that problem.
But they should
not. Yes, Ghanaians should not also forget that it was not in the hands of private
distributor.
Yes, the private distributor or the private man, that ECG was doing one-day service. We have done one-day service in ECG before, not long ago.
Yes.
One day, you pay the money one day, the same day they'll go and give you your service.
For you.
We have done that and we can do it. It's just because currently there is a whole issue has to do with another third-party contract we have given called the LRP.
Okay.
Which is also a private sector participation within ECG already. So our meter installation currently is not being handled by ECG.
Yes.
It's handled by a third party.
Yes.
These are other Ghanaian local investors who has also come up and then team up to form companies to assemble meters for Ghana and for electricity. And they give the meters to ECG in a way that they will go and install it. And then when they install, we will check it and we will pay them when Ghanaians have paid. This is what is happening. So already there is already a private sector participation within ECG. Not only that, currently nobody goes to ECG or can say, "Oh, bill." No. We have gone cashless. And the cashless is also part of what we are doing as the private sector participation. Because there are third parties, companies that we have given contract to who are running our operation system, the software, and then the app, which even receives the platform payment. All these ones are already a third party participation or the private sector. So when you want to come out and say that ECG, you want to go private sector, which other one are you talking about? When already these ones are working
and working efficiently.
Good. And as it stands now with the minister, we met him and he knows that he has applauded that within the 6 months, let me say December, the acting managing director was recommended, had 3 major awards. Why? Because they believe that he was within the energy sector the most efficient managing director in terms of revenue, was able to also work for the power to be stable. Now just check, the workers are doing all these things, and the reason to give ECG out to private sector is the same thing they are talking about.
Now let me take this. What would be the reaction of the union if government goes ahead to do more privatization of the electricity company?
So currently what we are saying is that we don't know what the government is looking for. Are you looking for efficiency? Are you looking for ECG to do better? Or there's an agenda? You just want to segment ECG and give it out to some few Ghanaians who are, let me say that, who are just self-centered and who are not nationalistic or patriotic enough. They want to take over the state-owned thing and make it their individual properties. If not so, what we are saying is that give ECG, and what labor is saying, what the TUC, what organized labor is saying, what the union pool is saying, give us the opportunity. At least that is another option. So we can implement it and see what comes out of it. If you don't want to listen to us, the whole organized labor are seriously mobilizing. Ghanaians,
as we speak,
organized labor are mobilizing. All the unions are together. All the unions are together because nobody will sit down that for what happened to Ghana Telecom to happen to ECG. Nobody will sit down this time. If any Ghanaian who is Sebi will be back as a Ghana name up. And not dream our former. Telecom no and the two Ghana Airways no. Now at the end of the day, what is happening now?
They are all dead.
They are all dead. What is happening now? It's also happening in South Africa. Their energy sector is becoming deteriorating and it's coming worse and worse. Why? Because this same thing about PSP
is happening there.
It's happening there. It is in Uganda. They can't talk about it. So why won't we also sit down? I like
the part that you said organized labor is getting itself ready for any action that will go against the what you are proposing for the PUWU. Now, let's look at, when we come back, we'll look at best practice. But before we go, let me ask you about why organized labor wants to do this. Is it in to the benefit of the Ghanaian?
Yes. So this is very simple.
Because apart from organized labor, we have the informal sector. Are you driving them along too?
Or because everybody is going to lose the moment ECG is sent to privatization.
Yes.
Everybody's going to lose. Why? Let me give the 3 categories, especially the informal sector. Who pay electricity? There's a component of what we call subsidized.
Yes.
That is say what it is in the hands of the government, or it's a public sector organization. You benefit,
because you're a citizen.
But the moment it goes to the hands of the private sector,
cut off.
It will be cut off. And don't forget, like it's happening in Uganda, you can't pay your bills anymore.
Yeah.
Because they'll be looking for their profit.
Yeah.
Any way they have to make sure that is done, they will do it. And number 2, if you have any relative in a village who also desire or derive one day to also enjoy from the national grid or to see light, they should kiss they should kiss it off, that they will never see light.
They will never see light, because for the private investor, for him, profit making is the ultimate.
He will never put money where he knows that will not give him the returns he's looking for.
Yes.
So he will not spend so much to extend power to certain part of the village.
That would be extra cost for him.
That will be an extra cost for him. He would rather spend it where he will get more money from. And Ghanaians are going to lose. The second thing we are talking about is that look at how much we are paying for electricity now. Anybody in any part of labor, currently look at any time tariff is increased.
Yes.
Look at what happens.
Yes.
Automatically, most of the things we see are also increased because we are currently having what we call EVs, electric vehicles. Yeah. And very soon, fuel will not be a determining factor of what becomes the economic high level of life. You know, it is going to be energy. Because I'm telling you, let's read it. It's going to be energy. And so if you leave it in the hands of the private sector, currently the generation is in the hands of the private sector, the distribution in the hands of the private sector. Number 3, our security.
Then you hold yourself to ransom as a nation.
Because, so anybody who really loves this country and really thinks about the future of this country and the future of the next generation should say no to this
and say no to this unnecessary privatization.
We are not saying that we cannot work well. The property should be done. What the union was saying is that property should be done.
It should be done. So just like the way the organized labor resisted the sale of state hotels, certainly they said they are going to resist the sale or the privatization of certain components of entities of electricity company of Ghana. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll look at the best practices. Ghana is not in isolation. We'll look at best practices when it comes to generation, distribution of power. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and we are still on your show, Wala to Walasa. We have in our studio Reverend Paul Hayes, who has been walking us through the issues in there when it comes to public utilities. Brother, let me ask you, now, this privatization issue, what would be the triggering effect on the ordinary Ghanaian citizen?
Thank you very much. I think this is very important. I would like every Ghanaian to pause and listen to this. It has a major effect on the Ghanaian. If you are listening to us, wherever you find yourself and this video finds you, remember, if you're a worker in Ghana, this will have effect on your job. A lot of jobs losses, if care is not taken, this can affect us. I'm not talking about really those working in ECG. I'm talking about anyone working, because if the studio from here cannot pay their bills, imagine what will happen to the workers here. Imagine if places like Vaco and other places are not able to pay their electricity bills because the social component aspect is taken out of it, and profit driven is what is bridging up. We cannot afford it. And that is why, in the wisdom of any other developed countries like we have in China, like Germany,
that is the best practice.
The best practice that they own it. The energy sector is owned by the state, and they control it, because the production cost to produce something in Japan and in China is far cheaper than produce it in Ghana, because our energy here is far higher and let me say that very costly than when you go there. This is why they have chosen to say that it should belong to the public and the state. Because they know it has a social part they must
which the
and they
government
subsidize this to all these people. So people live here and go there and go and do production and bring it back.
Just imagine that.
Just imagine that. Why can't we do this to ourselves in Ghana? And the second thing we want Ghanaians to know that when, just like everybody sat down, we shouldn't say that this is ECG workers, this is public workers union, this is organized labor, this is
It's a family home.
The informal sector, wherever you are, even to those of you who are even following these people making the decisions, it will affect you. Because one day go back to your constitution as a politician and the light you have promised them, they will never get it. Because these people will never think about sending power to places they will never get
because of the high cost.
Because of the high cost.
Now, if it was government will send it because it is part of its social responsibility to ensure that electricity and water gets to citizens wherever they find themselves.
Thank you, my brother.
For the private sector producer, does not care about whether you get electricity or water. And that is where the point is. Let us be very, very careful about this. Now, let's look at the issue of Galamsey and water production. Are we having effect? I'm believing we are going to have effect when it comes to water production and Galamsey activities. Well, most of the water bodies has been, polluted.
Yeah. So seriously,
that could lead to high cost of water in future.
It is what is happening now. Currently, Ghana Water is spending a whole lot in the production of water because of the. Let me say that somebody say that the high metals within the water, and it's very, very serious that before any water will be treated enough for us to be able to drink or for consumption, we have to spend, let me say, 3 times the cost
for treatment.
That's the level we have gotten to now. I think it was very clear when organized labor visited those areas,
those water bodies,
yes, it's very serious. We know the government is fighting this whole menace of Galamsey, but we are begging Ghanaians, whatever we are taking. You see, when you try, I can't for say, if you make money out of this Galamsey, and at the end of the day, is getting in a area. What have you done?
Ground zero.
Ground zero.
Yes, he's still.
And we need to be careful. We are calling on Ghanaians that let's try. We can save ourselves. Apart from saying the next thing you have to do is to also take proper care of yourself. And that is what we are calling on Ghanaians to do when it comes to the area of water to drink. We are begging, and we also want to beg the minister, and also from my general secretary has made it clear that they should look at the desalination plants to look at it well, and then sit down with them and renegotiate the contract terms, because it is a killer contract. It is not helping us at all. It is no from day one. It is costing us. It is a waste. And we will not say so much that it is not, that contract is rather an albatross on our neck.
Rather than a savior.
Yes, rather save us. It's really not helping us. They should find a way. We need more pumps. The current MD for Ghana Water is doing well, Gallows. We need more pumps. We want them to get more pumps. At least make sure we have a bigger pump so that water can go to other places. Teshin Nungwa, within part of Accra, they need water. So that we can be able to at least pump water to all the places. And then central region, western region, Ashanti region. These are areas when we stop the Galamsey and each other activities. We will have good cleaning water and potable water flowing all over the place. We can do it. We've done it before. Recently, we realized that the challenge that is more and more of our time is when sometimes the illegalities also Ghana Water. People always try to steal water. They dig the ground, connect, and without not the appropriate context. This time they are arresting people, and then they are in a way taking people to court, and then
if that is happening, then I believe that it's good, because you can enter into certain communities. Do you understand? Then now one particular person has a big poly tank, and has tapped the Ghana water into it and now selling the water. So other houses around are not getting the water unless they go to that particular house to go and buy water. Meanwhile, this water is coming from the Ghana Water Company.
Yeah.
So as citizens, we need to be careful on some of these issues. Now, I want you to give a message to your union members. A message towards the way forward.
All right, thank you very much. But before I say that, I want to say this, that the workers of ECG,
yes,
and the management and TUC, organized labor, every worker in Ghana should see the importance and the need to understand that the private sector of ECG is not the solution for ECG's turnaround. But what we want to believe is that we have given some key indicators and key major steps to be taken. Mm-hmm. And that is also an option that we expect that government should try. Because within these 6 months, we have seen a result. And if that follows, we can see a tremendous and more major results. One, all the appointments that have been done from the board to the directors, they should be given measurables, KPIs. And they should be tied to it and hold to it and hold accountable. What we are saying is that send a private person, no member, to say, yeah, when you fire, we should also hire a fire. We want to see the first person from government point of view who has been appointed, who have been given KPIs and not working and have been fired. Then we know you are serious. You want the country to be well.
Yes.
Number two, what we are also saying is that between the management to the least person, there have been contracts that we have signed of performance that we are doing our part. And we are pleading that let's rather concentrate on these things and do what must be done to save the company. And rather not be forming groups to segment ECG and say, this is my portion, this is my portion, this is my portion. The truth will always be the truth. That what we can do together as a country is to save each other's own. And that is what I want to say. But with the message to all workers,
yeah.
I want to say to all workers, I want to say to organized labor, I want to say to even all...
In fact, actually add your stakeholders.
Yes, so stakeholders and then even... let's say all consumers of electricity. We are saying to you that we know ECG as it stands now. We are not giving you the best, but we are trying. And with the little we have, we know we can do more. We want to just admonish you that let your confidence be that this very electricity will rather be best off in the hands of the state and Ghana handling it, and also to treat you better. We also know there are challenges, especially with meters. We assure you, very soon, we have seen the minister, there will be meters available. And these are issues that can be resolved. Currently, the power is stable. Currently, we are making rules of revenue. Currently, our losses are coming down. We also want to plead with you, anybody who comes to do illegal, please be careful, because illegality currently is a criminal issue and will be taking you on. We have machines, we have gadgets that are determined illegal connections from where you are now. And the moment you get arrested, you will pay for it. We also want to plead with all the workers especially, keep working hard and keep doing what you are doing. And to all Ghanaian workers, remember, when electricity goes down, water goes down, then there's no cause for us to leave again. So let's save ourselves and let's be together. We'll be calling you very soon. If they say no, just like we said no to the SNIT, we'll also come and say no, and we'll save Ghana. We'll not allow this to go like Telecom. We'll not allow this to go like Ghana Airways. We'll not allow this to go like one of the major institutions that has also drawn down. We'll keep this because it will be for our future. Thank you very much.
Very well. Viewers, this has been an interesting conversation. Public utilities workers are the unseen engine behind Ghana's development. When the lights stay on, water flows, and essential services continue uninterrupted, it is because of the dedication of these workers. Protecting their welfare, ensuring safe working conditions, and maintaining industrial harmony are not optional. they are essential for national stability and productivity. We thank our guests from the Public Utilities Workers Union for shedding light on the realities facing Ghanaians' utility workforce. All that the PUW is saying is that ECG must not be sold and that they will resist to the core the sale or otherwise privatization of this entity. So government should think twice. We want to say a very big thank you to our guest, Brother Reverend Enoch Lai Paul Hayes, who is the Deputy General Secretary of the Public Utility Workers Union of TUC, for coming to share this information with us. We are most grateful, and I'm sure our listeners have really listened and they will take action, positive action to support you when it comes to these issues of the sale of ECG. Now, viewers, let's take a critical look at what I have on my table. I am sure many of you are admiring it and wondering what it symbolizes. This is Wala to Walasa's campaign against illegal mining in Ghana, popularly known as Galamsey. Wala to Walasa is appealing to the conscience of all those involved in this brutal act, right from the top of operations to the lowest person involved in Galamsey, to take a look into the future of our country, Ghana, and put a stop to this act that will destroy our beloved country. We are calling for responsible mining, which we believe falls within the environmental balance of our country, Ghana. Ghana needs clean water, and that is what we are talking about. I leave you with this quote: the environment is no one's property to destroy. It is everyone's responsibility to protect. Thank you for staying with us on Wala to Walasa, where we keep the spirit of work and dignity alive. Work hard, stay focused, be productive, and on a very good day, don't break the rules. See you next week. Bye-bye.